Only moments ago, the silence was broken. Jin, who had remained reserved while speculation spread across the fandom, has finally revealed the reason why Jungkook broke down in tears while being held tightly in Taehyung's arms. The revelation is both shocking and heartbreaking, challenging the image of celebration that many expected and exposing a deeper, more vulnerable truth about the youngest member of BTS. The question that now dominates every discussion is direct and unsettling. What pain was Jungkook carrying that forced him to collapse so visibly, and why did it take Jin's voice to finally uncover the truth? The incident itself left an unforgettable impression. Jungkook, usually composed and confident, was seen openly weeping, his body trembling as Taehyung embraced him. For ARMY, the sight was both moving and concerning. It symbolized a rare moment where the public mask slipped, where the pressure of years, the exhaustion of expectations, and the fragility of human emotion collided all at once. Yet without context, the moment became fuel for speculation, with fans worldwide attempting to decipher its meaning. Now, with Jin's explanation, the fragments begin to form a sobering picture. According to Jin, Jungkook's tears were not a performance, nor were they the result of a fleeting emotional wave. They were the product of sustained pressure, the kind of invisible weight that builds silently until it can no longer be contained. His words implied that Jungkook had been struggling quietly, enduring responsibilities and personal battles that had gone largely unnoticed. The embrace with Taehyung was not simply comfort, it was survival, a desperate moment where the youngest member of the group allowed himself to lean on someone he trusted completely. Jin's statement pierced through the speculation, leaving no doubt that Jungkook's tears carried a painful truth. The explanation did not lessen the emotional blow, it intensified it. ARMY, who had hoped for reassurance, were instead confronted with the reality of Jungkook's vulnerability. The fandom, known for its protective instincts, now faced a wave of disappointment, not directed at Jungkook himself, but at the circumstances that drove him to this breaking point. Many had celebrated his birthday with joy, sending messages of love and support, unaware of the storm that was quietly consuming him. Jin's revelation has left them asking difficult questions. Did they miss the signs? And have their expectations contributed to his exhaustion? Taehyung's role in the moment has also become a subject of intense discussion. His instinctive embrace of Jungkook, holding him firmly as tears streamed down his face, now carries even more weight. It was not merely a gesture of comfort between friends, it was a lifeline. Jin's explanation underscores that Taehyung was there at precisely the moment Jungkook could no longer carry the burden alone. The image of that embrace has already become iconic, but with Jin's revelation, it transforms from a touching scene into a haunting reminder of fragility within the world's biggest music group. Jin's decision to speak out is itself significant. Known for his protective nature toward the younger members, he rarely exposes their struggles to the public. That he chose to reveal the reason behind Jungkook's breakdown suggests both the seriousness of the situation and the necessity of acknowledging it. By doing so, he not only clarified the speculation but also invited ARMY to understand the human side of their idols, stripped of glamour and spotlight. His words may not have been what fans wanted to hear, but they were what they needed to confront. Reactions across fan communities have been explosive. Some express gratitude that Jin chose honesty, believing it will help ARMY better support Jungkook in the future. Others, however, remain unsettled, feeling that the revelation has left them with more questions than answers. Was Jungkook's struggle purely emotional, tied to personal insecurities and pressure, or were there deeper conflicts at play within the group itself? The lack of detail has fueled speculation, but the undeniable truth is that Jungkook's tears were real, raw, and devastating. Observers point out that the moment reflects a broader reality often hidden in the entertainment industry. Behind flawless performances and endless smiles lie immense sacrifices. Jungkook, despite his global fame, is still human, vulnerable to the same exhaustion, loneliness, and doubt as anyone else. Jin's revelation has forced fans to confront this reality, stripping away illusions of perfection and replacing them with a sobering reminder of fragility. For ARMY, the disappointment is not in Jungkook, but in the painful truth that their idol has carried such a heavy burden unseen. The emotional core of the incident lies in the trust between the members. Taehyung's embrace, Jin's explanation, and Jungkook's tears all point toward a bond deeper than words. It is within this bond that Jungkook found the space to break down, knowing he would not be judged but held. Yet this intimacy, once private, is now public, leaving fans torn between empathy and discomfort. Did the world need to see Jungkook in this state? And did Jin's decision to reveal the reason cross a boundary of privacy, or was it an act of necessary transparency? These questions will linger, but the moment itself cannot be erased. Jungkook crying in Taehyung's arms, Jin explaining the truth, and ARMY grappling with disappointment form a chain of events that will define this chapter of BTS's journey. It is not a story of scandal, but of humanity, of the cost of fame, the necessity of support, and the vulnerability that even global icons cannot escape. What remains now is the response. How ARMY will channel their emotions, how Jungkook will recover, and how Jin's words will reshape the narrative. As the discussion continues, one truth is undeniable. The image of Jungkook breaking down will remain etched in memory, not as a weakness, but as a symbol of honesty. Taehyung's embrace will be remembered as the anchor that kept him steady, and Jin's revelation as the turning point that brought the hidden struggle into the light. Together, they remind the world that behind the glitter of the stage lies the raw reality of human emotion, where even the strongest sometimes need to be held, and even the brightest stars sometimes need to cry. The revelation of Jin's explanation regarding Jungkook's breakdown in Taehyung's arms has spread rapidly, capturing attention across every platform. Yet, the more this story travels, the more pressing a question emerges. Can we be certain that this event unfolded exactly as reported? Or are we consuming a version shaped by the lenses of media and social networks? In an era when images and words can be amplified, altered, and misinterpreted in seconds, how much of what we see should be accepted as truth? Millions of fans replayed the footage of Jungkook clinging to Taehyung, tears staining his face, interpreting the scene as undeniable proof of inner struggle. But how reliable is a single clip detached from its broader context? Could the camera, the angle, and the editing transform an ordinary emotional moment into a narrative of collapse and despair? If Jin's words are indeed the key to understanding, do we even know if those words have been conveyed with full accuracy, or are they filtered, paraphrased, and reconstructed by intermediaries, the sources that carry the story? TikTok clips, YouTube uploads, Twitter threads, and secondary media outlets. Each add layers of interpretation, but do they add clarity or confusion? Social media thrives on virality, not verification. A tear, a hug, a sentence from Jin can become magnified into a spectacle of drama within minutes. But is this amplification a service to truth or a betrayal of it? How many fans paused to ask whether they were watching reality or a carefully crafted performance? Here lies the heart of the provocation. Is this incident a reflection of genuine pain, or has it been molded, intentionally or unintentionally, into a storyline designed to attract attention, sympathy, and headlines? Are we witnessing the raw vulnerability of Jungkook, or are we consuming a narrative fed by sensationalism, edited to stir emotion, and circulated without rigorous fact-checking? The difference between truth and manipulation is thin, and in the frenzy of fandom, it often disappears altogether. Consider this. If Jin had not spoken, would the embrace between Jungkook and Taehyung still hold the same weight? Would fans still interpret it as a collapse under pressure, or would it simply have been seen as brotherly comfort during a difficult moment? Does Jin's so-called explanation confirm the assumptions, or has it been selectively framed to reinforce the story fans were already telling themselves? When emotion dominates interpretation, where does evidence find its place? This is not merely a question about one incident. It is a broader challenge to how we, as consumers of media, engage with the constant flood of information. Do we accept what we see and hear at face value, or do we interrogate it, asking who benefits from the spread of this narrative? Could the emotional impact of Jungkook's tears be weaponized for attention, engagement, and profit? Is the story being told to inform or to exploit the deep emotional bond between idols and their fans? The stakes are high, not just for BTS, but for every fan who invests their trust and emotions in these stories. To believe blindly is to surrender agency. To question is to reclaim it. But how many will dare to question when the images are so powerful, when the emotions are so raw, when the desire to believe in authenticity is stronger than the discipline to doubt? Can love for an idol coexist with skepticism, or does doubt feel like betrayal? Every reader, every army, must confront this tension. When we encounter reports like this one, do we pause and reflect, or do we immediately share, comment, and amplify? By engaging without skepticism, are we complicit in the spread of unverified narratives? Conversely, by questioning too much, do we risk dismissing genuine cries for help from the very idols we claim to protect? The paradox is sharp, uncomfortable, and unresolved. Therefore, the essential challenge presented by Jin's revelation is not only about the truth of his words, but about our capacity as audiences to navigate uncertainty. Can we hold space for empathy without losing our grip on critical thinking? Can we recognize the humanity of Jungkook and the solidarity of Taehyung without becoming prisoners of sensationalism? The answer lies not in the story itself, but in the way we choose to process it. The image of Jungkook crying in Taehyung's arms will remain, replayed endlessly on screens across the world. Jin's explanation will echo in fan discussions for weeks to come. But beyond the emotions, a more urgent question persists. Are we witnessing fact, or are we participants in a narrative crafted for impact? Until we confront this question with rigor, we risk mistaking spectacle for truth and sentiment for evidence. So, the challenge is placed before you, the reader. Do you truly believe what you have seen and read? Or do you suspect that this might be a fabrication, a dramatization designed to capture your attention? Can you hold your admiration while exercising doubt? Or will the intensity of emotion overpower the responsibility to verify? The decision is yours, and with it comes the power to shape not just the narrative of this moment, but the culture of how stories are consumed in the digital age.